selection investigation. So hopefully you've talked to your children about generalization, and we're on to actually making some code. So let's get them to choose a transport sprite of some form. In some ways it doesn't really matter what they choose, so you might want to allow them a lot more open-ended choice than this, but it's up to you. Okay, you might want to slim that down a little bit using that shrink sprite button and left clicking lots of times until it's a reasonable size. And then we just want to make it move and steer, and really this is a very quick thing for this one because we've already done that in the slug trail. You might just drag these out and challenge, or even just challenge the children to make it move to start with without you showing them any blocks of code at all. See if they can remember that moving within the forever loop. Steering though, it's a really good idea to remind them of that selection inside a loop that we used last time, where it constantly checks to see whether the condition has been met. And a good way of doing that is to drag this out. Okay, and if the key space is pressed, okay, there we go, key space is pressed, and we're going to go either right or left, so many degrees, and you can decide how many degrees you set that up with. And of course you're leaving them to have a go at this. So if the key space is pressed, go one way, or we automatically go the other way. And then of course they can choose to actually pop that inside the forever loop. Okay, so now what we've got is a car that if I press that spacebar key, okay, it goes one way, and then by judicious sort of spacebar presses I can keep it sort of basically going where I want it to. Depends how good your key press skills are there. It's quite important at this point to say to the children, well, actually everything you've got in this block mustn't be touched. Okay, that is a block that you mustn't put anything else inside, and you mustn't build any code inside there either. And then you're going into the stage, and you're going into backgrounds, and you'll edit your backgrounds, and you're getting the children to put as many coloured blobs as they can onto the background. So, and it doesn't matter what colour they are. That's a bit too big. Okay, you just want lots of different colour back blobs all over your background. Okay, spread out nicely so that you've got them. There we go. Alright, that doesn't take too long. Okay, you can do more than that if you want to. But there we go. Now we've got lots of coloured blobs. And then it's a really good idea just to show the children a couple of examples first of what type of things to do. But actually, or what's quite nice before this is to get the children to go and have a look at all of the blocks, okay, in here, and to see if they can find, okay, any blocks of code which are sort of opposite to each other. So you get the children looking in, sorry, not inside the stage, but inside the car, and they might have things like show and hide, and they can see that that's opposite, or changing the effects and clearing the effects for those. Okay, or turning right or turning left, as we've demonstrated up the top here. Okay, or X and Y if they, although that's less likely in year 4. Okay, playing the volume going up or the volume going down, or playing a sound and stopping a sound. Okay, or the pen down and the pen up. So there's lots and lots and lots of things that they can find. And then you just demonstrate one simple block just to get them started. And what we're going to do here is make a separate block for this. Okay, and we're going to come down and choose a single if. Because we want it to be checked over and over again, we're going to put it inside a forever loop. and we're going to use one of our touching colour ones, and we're going to choose a colour from our background. And then the nice one to start with is the change colour effect by. Okay, so now we start our little game and we steer up to touch that, and when it's touching that blob it actually is changing the colour, and then of course when it goes away it stops doing that. And the challenge then for the children is to find as many different ways to use either the if block within a forever loop or the if else block inside a forever loop, and they can duplicate that and adjust it, okay, to do all sorts of other things, and that's great fun, and the children will find all sorts of things. I've had children come up with using variables as well, because they've seen the variable in the quiz game. They've made the variable, increase the variable when it touches one colour, even set the variable back when it touches something else. I've also had one or two children go on and start thinking of a game idea, and in fact if you do get that, really just let them go with it. If they've got a really sort of coherent idea, then let's run